All right, everybody, welcome. Let me share the screen right away. We know what we need. Okay. And I can start greeting you guys. 1 second right here. Chat. Okay. And in fact, I can do even more. I can say, hello from Houston. And you can do the same. You can also say hello from, let's say, from Russia with love. That's the famous phrase. Okay. Sharing back. So opening that page and giving you that link, that's the one that you need. Okay, and thank you for hello from Bay Area, thank you from Raleigh, and that is the link that you need. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. I want to, but I'll change the order. So I want to look at the new course by Andrew Ng. In that course, he also pronounces his name. I think it is Ng. And that's a question of big discussion because I had some Chinese friends who said there is no such last name, but he pronounces his own last name. But first thing that I will do will be that. There will be a little challenge because you guys, you asked for a challenge. You said, give us something to do. And I brought the virtual machine last time. I brought the virtual machine and it wasn't easy. So it wasn't a popular thing. But instead, I brought a problem. And with that problem, I will kind of challenge you. All right, and that's what I want to make a permanent feature, a new challenge. All right, so are you ready for a challenge? Let me ask a question. Are you ready for a challenge? Okay, and here is the challenge. Let us imagine we have a group of people. In fact, I was trying to see that kind of group of people, like maybe, no, not here. Maybe what I can show is this group of people. Oh boy. With followers. Well, essentially Twitter, right? But show me some pictures of that. Okay, maybe like that. But a graph. As a graph. All right, so something like that would work. And there are people who follow others. There are also people who are being followed. So if in our group, let's say we have right now 12 people here. So maybe, well, I'll flatter myself. Maybe you guys all follow me. So I get right now 13 followers, okay? And I, in turn, follow 5 people. So I got 13 followers and I follow 5. Well, let's look at all the other people. Let us say Paul. here, and let's say he's more popular than I am. So maybe 25 people, when they will come, we'll have more people coming to this webinar. And when they will come, then Paul will have 25 people. But it's a close group of people. We know who they all are. They are not coming out of somewhere outside. It's us, and we count. Now we begin counting. How many followers do we have? Okay. For example, in my case, if I had 13 followers, well, that was 13. So me, I have 13 followers, and I follow 5. Okay? And let us say, I'm sorry to say, Paul, I didn't ask permission, but let's say Paul has 25 followers. And let's say Paul follows only 2. 2. Okay? So there is a total of how many followers do we have? Total of followers. Let's say X. And then the total of people who follow someone. I will call it total of follow. And we'll call it Y. So my question in this challenge, and you can see that here as well. So we have a group of people. Now in that group, is it possible that if we count all of the followers, okay, which means you're popular, count the popularity, will that number be bigger? Can that number be bigger than those who follow? In other words, can it be that X is greater than Y? Is that possible? That's my question to you. That's our challenge for today. And if we guess it, then I want to make it a feature. Next time, I'll prepare my question in advance. And when you get the answer, you're allowed to use anything, including AI. When you get the answer, then you will come and maybe present it. But right now, all you can do is yes or no. Can there be a situation? Can you create a situation where popularity grows beyond any bound, and the count of popularity is greater than the count of all people who want to be followed, but nobody follows them? Can that be? Okay, so Bering says Bering Kronberg. That's great. So you're saying X factorial, meaning that the count of possible numbers may be X factorial. It may be. Yeah, I agree. It may be. But my question is not how many follows can there be, but can there be a situation, can you construct such a group where there will be more followers than follows? In other words, followers greater than follows. So to use a primitive language, followers is a measure of popularity, and being somebody who follows is, well, somebody who follows. He is just a wannabe. He is not an influencer. He's not a follower. He doesn't have that many followers. First of all, did I explain the question? Can there be more followers as a measure of popularity than follows? in a group of people. Okay, let's assume I did explain the question. Now, what's the answer? Well, the reason I give that because I have a beautiful answer. Okay, so imagine one thing. Imagine that every time I follow somebody, I give them $1. $1. Okay, so let's say I follow Paul, so I give Paul $1. Let's say Paul follows. Well, we don't know yet, but Bering is a good guy. So Paul follows Bering. He gives him $1. Now, if it could be that every time that I follow and I give $1, and everybody agrees to that game, you follow somebody, you give them $1, and that's a group of us, nobody else, close group, I would say, then we would be generating money out of thin air, right? Because every time you follow somebody, you give them $1, and somebody he follows you, he gives you $1. And if there are more dollars that are being given than there are followers, then it turns out that in the end everybody gains. Now, we all live in this world and we know it's hard to make money, so we understand that that would be a fantastical idea. Everybody gives another person money, and in the end, we all grow rich. Since that is not possible, we all live in this world and we know that making money is hard. Okay, Berin, it will be recorded, by the way. Come back and tell us the answer. But the answer is very brilliant. If you translate your mathematical question and you make it a human question, anthropomorphize, that is the secret. Anthropomorphize. I'm not sure if I'm even saying it right. But if that's what you would be doing, then you would be making money out of nowhere, and that can be done anytime. That is impossible. Therefore, it's impossible that X will be greater than Y, and that is false. Okay, that was the challenge, and that was the answer. And I got it because I anthropomorphized the problem. Instead of formulating it as a mathematical problem, here you are, it is a human problem. All right, that's what I really wanted to bring to you. I thought it was a great fun. But now I'm going to show you. Have you ever coded? So for those people who have never coded, they will really enjoy that. And Andrew Ng invites us to learn how to code, but you don't have to learn anything. Instead, you can practice like this. Okay. Yes, Paul, right. If I frame it in graph theory language, now everybody is tense and cannot think, and that's why it sounds hard. But money is something we all know. Okay. Now, Andrew Ng brings us a course. The course is right here. Okay, let's not hide. Let's open that link. That would be this.
Where in the AI era, it's no longer to type out code yourself.
No, let me share it again, but hear Andrew's voice. But then I will do my demos. So I stop sharing. I share again. Share. And this time I share with the sound, okay? So we said that this is the course from Andrew Ng. I really love it. I'm showing you the beginning.
Instead, you should tell AI to do it for you.
That's it. What you will do, instead of coding and writing the code, you'll just tell the AI, hey, write that code for me. I'll show you how he does it. I'll show you how you could do it using his environment. That will be right here. And then I will show you how you can do it in Chat GPT, Gemini, and Claude. And that will be a wonderful, fun thing. So first of all, practice here. Okay, now very nice Andrew Ng does this. He actually gives you a playground. It says send a prompt. The prompt is at the bottom. So I'm saying create a page. Here is my prompt, and that's what I want you to do. So I'm saying create a web page to help me write birthday cards, and I'm only giving you a little bit of the prompt. That much, okay? And what it does in response, it writes that code. Now, you can notice, of course, it won't be that surprising to you because you guys, many of you are coders. So he chose to write something in HTML. But more than HTML, he does use JavaScript. So it will be HTML, but it will be alive. This is the script. So you can see what he does. And in this case, you are not playing with it as yet. So you just add more to the prompt. That's what I'm adding, more and more to the prompt. Look, I didn't have to do anything. Just copy and paste that prompt. And I say, well, it looks dull. Let's add colors. Let's display the colors, the colors on the left, but also the card on the right. So I'm describing exactly what I want. Now, it did it, right? So I can download that. Where's my code? Must be somewhere. Here, okay? It wrote the code. It says just copy and paste this code into any file or download that, okay? So let us do this. Let us download that. Let me check my download directory is clean. As you see, nothing there. So I'm downloading that code that was created by an LLM inside of Andrew Ng's course. There you are. It downloaded that. I can open it, double click, and there you are. That's what you get. You get birthday card buddy. So name, not telling you how old I really am. I will invent funny ages. So say I'm Mark, and my age is, let's say, 120. And what I like to do is teaching, okay? Then make my birthday message. It says, level up. Mark is now 120 and ready for more epic teaching adventures. Very funny. That is it. That was exercise number 1. But I want to show you more exercises. Number 2 is this. Well, by the way, somebody says something. Not sure about apps in 30 minutes, but short scripts run quick. You see, yes, we'll talk about this, but we start with a very, very short script, okay? So I'm closing that and that, and I'm going back to where we were practicing. Here, right? So Andrew very nicely prepared for us the complete playground. All I had to do is this. And then he says, well, actually, you could do better. That's all the code that it created. You have to be quite a genius to do it fast. But let us do what he says we could do. And what is it? It's chat. Let's go to chat. That won't be a trivial exercise. As it turned out, it wasn't. So I'm going to chat. And I'm using a regular chat. Maybe that one thinks a little bit longer. Let's say random. And let's pick up the prompts. So again, same prompt, create a web page, add colors, display the card on the right, and then add the title. Copying that, giving it to the chat. All right, chat, go and run that task. Now, the same task, but as Andrew suggests, do it. Now, a little bit of the problem is that he remembers that I played with it already. So he right away makes my life easier. And he says, I remember what you want. You wanted plain HTML file. By the way, yesterday, ChatGPT came with the announcement. And the announcement was that it remembers all the conversations and across your different projects. So it remembers a lot and it figures out whether it's true now. And it says, I have created one for you. It has all these nice things. Okay. And that's the card that you can save. Now, I'll try that. I could try to say save it, but it doesn't give me that, so I just copy the code. And it wanted me to call it birthday cards HTML, so I'll do that. Create new document. And new document really means one of the Office. I don't want that. So to make my life simple, I open the terminal here, and here I say VI birthday cards. Cards dot HTML. Okay. I'm using VI, so this here assumes that I know just a little bit. So it's no code. Here's the file. I'll close that. I see the file. Let's open it, double click. And it's kind of a different style. I think basically what teaches it you is that by today, the AI is powerful enough to do a lot of tasks. We'll talk about what else it can do, but for now, it's good enough. Okay, so let's say I have a daughter, and her name is Rebecca, and her age is, let us say, 20, and she likes doing drawing. So create a card. You see the style. The style is different between models. And that's how you could potentially run competitions. But at first glance, that's exactly what we're here for. Try to play with it. It says happy birthday, 20 candles. So it's trying to be funny, but it's interesting the change in style. If I don't like that, I can say I'll make it dull. And that's the biggest point. Make it dull. And okay, here is the new code. So I'm taking that code. It's copied now. I'm going back. I'm saying no, edit it with something simpler. Edit with text editor. This one. Open. And now let's put the new code in here. It promises a dull, uninteresting code. Let's see. No, I don't see anything, right? That's exactly the point. If it doesn't work, just tell it. Something doesn't work. I do not see anything. It will say, oops, sorry, I make a mistake. And yeah, let's debug step by step and so on. Now, I'm not going to do it, but I'm telling that that is how you work with it. And I think the major point that Andrew is making is that, guys, it's so easy. It's no excuse not to play with it. So I'm closing that, but now I promised to try to do it with Gemini. So let us do that. How do you go to Gemini? You would assume it's a Google model. So you go to Gemini Google.com. And that's indeed the case. So now let's try to do the same prompt as Andrew suggests, this one, but give it to Gemini and let's see what happens. And I think that's what Andrew is saying. Just play with it. Take life easy. Let's try. It's a different style, but all of the AI is pretty much the same style. It's enthusiastic, it's encouraging, it's praising you. So it's generating. The times may differ. You see that it's a lot of styling and a lot of JavaScript functions, and it promises you that's what I've done. And let's try it. I'm copying all of the code, so it's not completely no code. It's almost, so Gemini, let's say birthday Gemini, okay? Open the terminal because it's Ubuntu, and Ubuntu, you cannot just create the text, right click. So VI Gemini birthday HTML. Since I already copied the code, I'm just pasting it there. Here's your code. I can now close it. I can even close the terminal. Let's look at Gemini. Different style, isn't it? Okay, let's congratulate Gemini itself. So, how old is it? I think about 3 years old. Okay, and I think favorite hobby of AI is fooling people. That's a famous topic of discussion, that it likes to hallucinate, as they say. But fooling is not spelled right. People. Create magic. Okay, happy third Gemini. Happy birthday. You're at an age where your back goes out more than you do. At 3, the back doesn't go out. Hope you enjoy some fooling people today. Just don't break a hip. And it's very strange, right? The style is as if you're talking to 133-year-old. So what we will do is this: we'll tell that that's what I got, but there seems to be a mismatch between the content and the year. Here I'm back, and I'm saying that is what I got, but it seems appropriate for a 103 old. Okay, AI teaches you to be nice and precise here, old, and not a 3-year old. And now I give the text. Text. Yes. So my question is, yes, if I'm right, why did you do it? But at least it will correct mistake. So it says replace the script. That's another problem with AI. It does it all the time. It wants you to think. It wants me to find that, and very often that doesn't work. So I'm saying give me complete text. Give complete code. Now that give me complete code doesn't quite work when you're programming, because you are within a complete environment, and it may mess up even more. So what's the practical advice? One of the practical advice that I did was create a branch in Git and experiment one step at a time. So you get a bit more of a program. You become more and more of a program as you play with it. But who said that's wrong? So I'm going back. I am editing that, opening it with the text editor, and I'm putting the next. Let's see what will happen now. Okay, again, Gemini 3 pulling people, and we generate the card. Hooray, you're through. You're official master the art of fooling people. It's more reasonable. But again, what Andrew, I think, is teaching you is that keep experimenting, keep iterating. It's not a big lesson. It's kind of life lesson. Here's my life, and I am iterating and doing it better and better all the time. Well, what I promised was also do it with Claude. So let's do it. Now, I don't know what Claude URL will be. So I'm saying Claude URL to play. Maybe like that, because not to plan, but to play. They say right there, Claude UI. Let's see. I'm already there. Let's do it. They say that Claude is very popular with developers. Again, they say is nothing. If you look at I was just looking at the graphs, and the Facebook graph has 3 billion people. That's really, they say. As far as our little experiment, that's too little. But nevertheless, let's try to play. Now, Claude does it somewhat differently. You see what it does? It shows you the answer here on the right, and it shows you the conversation on the left. But I think it will do even more. So let's watch it completing the code. And now it decided to show that to you. That is the difference. I would say they are quite different, all those AIs. Even though Andrew in his lecture says, pretty much the same. Well, they kind of the same. That's more thoughtful design, I would say. So let's say how old is Claude itself. I think it's maybe like 5 years old. 4. And help programs. That's what I think it does best. So I didn't have to copy the code, but somehow it doesn't work. Hey, it says it should appear there and it doesn't. In the window on the right. So what we see is that life is not perfect. It requires work. Okay. And I didn't explain it well. I meant that it's the card result doesn't work. What it thought that I don't see that code. That code I do see. There is a button called publish. I will try that. So again, I want to see, and now it works. Very smart. I don't know what it did, but it fixed that. We'll ask that. Not only that, as you can see, it shows multiple cards. These are your experiments. And in addition, it shows the latest here at the top. So what did you change? Well, it really did change something, change even the form. Why? Maybe it's because in my browser, being Chrome on Ubuntu, it's different. Exactly. The different how artifacts are rendered isolated in the Claude interface and also on my computer. Okay, I think that is what the result was. Okay, so we were right here. We said that first of all, we'll treat you to a problem here, and I did. Then I showed you the new course, which is guys, you didn't code in your life. That's so easy now. That's what you do. Then I also showed you how Andrew is going to do it. So let's do this. Let's go and hear from the master, and then we'll look at a couple things. Okay, here you are. No, that's not what I meant. All I meant is just go there.
Telling AI what to do is called prompting. When given precise instructions,
Well, no,
AI can do.
that's already too much. Let's go back.
Hi, I'm Andrew Ng. I want to show you how to build fun, useful software using AI, regardless of your background or training. If you're intrigued about using AI or vibe coding to build cool software, but aren't sure where to start, this course is for you. Let me show you a funny birthday card app that you learn to build in minutes using ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other similar AI system.
I think that's it, and I showed you that. What else will be in the course? There you are. There will be more and more exercises of that same style. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you very much, Andrew. And we heard how he pronounced. He says Andrew. Okay, I say that works. And the last thing is kind of an unexpected surprise I want to talk about. Okay, we saw basically how life changes, how you can now work with AI. So my question is how to run, how to test your AI systems that you build. And that is because uh, it would be boring to use something like Selenium and you don't even know if it will work because whatever AI will do will change. So, my idea, and that's my really question to you, will be my idea use OpenAI browser. You may have seen the demo. In the OpenAI browser, you have your instructions on the right, like that, and you have the site that you want it to work with on the left. So you bring it to the site, then you give it control, and then you say, just test that site. That will be fun. That will be the modern approach, the AI approach. The problem is this the AI browser is only released for the Mac and later Mac than what I have. So I'll see, but problem would need a new Mac. Now, every time I say that, it says, no, no, you don't need the new Mac. You can just use my instructions and it will work for you. But no, they don't work for me. So open. Open your ideas. Again, I'll put it in the chat. I'm going to the chat. Yusuf, 1 second, I will answer your question. But that's my idea. Well, what I want to say is how to test. So let me do the complete question. Okay. Now the question. How will you test your new systems or any software because it looks so enticing? Forget all the days of what you did before. Well, whether it is so or no, I don't know. Now, Yusuf, you have a question, a link to that document. The only link that you need is this one. There you are. Okay, from here, you can go and find other interesting things. One of them is this. People ask, where should I start? Well, you should start right here. All the courses that we covered, huh? Doesn't work. Look at that. Why is it that it doesn't? Oh, it's the registration. That should work. Okay. So that's what you would get. You would get about 100 different courses now and about one new course every week. So at the bottom here, you will see a course that I give a name. I said code with us, meaning here we are. We are coding together and we are using Andrew Ng. We also learned a new term, vibe coding. I could never get it until you start doing it. It's vibe coding seems to be just start playing. That's it. Start playing. There is no very formal definition. But yeah, I thought that was all very, very interesting. Yeah, I agree, Helen. Thank you. Okay, that's where the courses are. Okay, closing that. That's where all the other links are. You start from here. And that's what we do every time. So today is January 9, and we were looking at that course. We also practiced straight in there because very nice Andrew gave us a place to practice. You don't even have to set anything. But he also said you can go into Chat or Gemini or Claude or any other AI and experiment. And we saw that it will be somewhat different in every system, yes, but it will be interesting just to even compare that. And how is AI different from HI? I don't know, human intellect. That is some philosophy that we're still looking for an answer. Now, the math problem came from here. Maybe I can find it. Let's see. There, there. That's the mathematician who likes talking about everything. And one interesting thing about this mathematician is that he is the top guy on Math Overflow. You know, there is a thing called Stack Overflow, right? Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow. And many people get there. Where is the Stack Overflow? Hey, show me Stack Overflow. Here. That's the Stack Overflow. You can find friends here. You can find people who are talking about any question. But there is also a Math Overflow. As it turns out, Math Overflow is a place where the mathematicians hang out. And if you look at this guy and if you look at who is at the top, I think it should be users right here. Did he lose? His place was the first here. He was the first. I can't understand that. All right, that doesn't really matter, but he really was the first. And he, looking at that guy, and his name is, it's hard to remember. Hammocks, yeah, I think Hammocks. All right, he teaches at Oxford, and he gives interesting problems. That's where that came from. All right, now you got all of the secrets, and I want to ask any questions that you have. So what I'm doing is I'm stopping the share, okay, and I'm asking you questions or suggestions. Questions, suggestions. If you have any questions or suggestions, they will go to the next week webinar. If you want to say something, if you have a suggestion to talk about something, just write to Mark at Skya AI and I will answer. All right, everybody, thank you very, very much for being here. I wish you a great weekend uh, and a great year to come. Thank you, Paul. Thanks, Helen. Thank you, Dipto. And Brian.